Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Robert Antoine, and I'm along with the lovely
Constance Carter.
And we believe that for every situation,
there is a conversation.
Hashtag Conversation Starters Live. Woo-wee! It is Friday, Constance, and I'm ready to get my relax, my chill on, if you know what I mean.
I am too. Seriously, it's been a long week and I am ready. You know what would be ideal?
What? Talk to your brother.
I was at a jazz festival somewhere, anywhere around the world, maybe on a cruise, maybe in Spain, maybe in the Caribbean. And I was just sitting out there under the sun, just around a lot of people and just listening to the beautiful sounds of Mr. Gerald Albright. That would be an ideal Friday for me.
Hold on. So Gerald Albright plays the keyboards, right?
No. Come on, man.
Hold on, wait. I know I'm thinking about Brian Cos, maybe. Brian Culbertson. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think that he has a little bit more melanin than
you know, I'm just playing. I am a huge fan of live music, Constance.
I know.
And you know that I am a jazz fool.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I drive my kids crazy all the time, you know, listening to jazz when they want me to be listening to the music of the day. But there's nothing like an outdoor jazz festival when you're sipping on something real nice, great company. And when Gerald comes on, he's so personal and so cool with it, right?
Yeah.
When he hit that first note.
But let me tell you something. I'm a bass player. And several years ago, I seen him playing like a 5 or 6 string. And I was like, what? This dude is super ultra talented. Not only does he play the saxophone with precision, but he also can play the bass too. And I'm sure many other instruments, but he's mastered at least those two that I've seen him do live, which is just amazing. I've also seen his daughter. I seen him in concert one year at the Tahoe Jazz Festival, and his daughter was there. It was Layla. His daughter opened up. I think
Did you say Layla?
Yeah. Layla was there as well.
Layla Hathaway.
The Layla Hathaway. It was awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so that's what it's. So if I had an ideal Friday, that would be my ideal Friday. Seriously. And I'm so sad because COVID has ruined everything.
Check that out. You know what? Well, I'm right there with you, baby sis. The next time you are on a beach or you're at a jazz festival, you got to call your boy. Let me get at it and hang with you for a little bit. But speaking of COVID ain't going nowhere. As a matter of fact, across the entire country, COVID numbers are still rising. And it doesn't matter whether you're in a blue state or a red state. We need to make sure that everybody in the Conversation Starters listening audience is very, very aware of the dangers of going outside unprotected, without your mask, without the sanitation, and doing all the things that the CDC has put out that we need to be doing. Look at that map. Out of all the countries around the globe, the United States has at least 3/4 of the continent, actually, that has been affected with COVID, either through death and or contraction of the virus.
Do you see that the U.S. has 4.5 million cases, and the second highest is Brazil at 2.6. We've far beat China, and 675,000 global deaths, 152,922 deaths in the U.S. And this is as of today. Wow. So, and it's just going up and up. It's like no end in sight, Rob. I don't know what's going on around here.
Yeah. You know, and we can't get caught sleeping, drinking the Kool-Aid, listening to some of the nonsense and fake news that's out there in the media. We certainly need to make sure we protect ourselves, protect those that we love, and make sure that the information is spread out throughout the Conversation Starters live listening audience.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's been some other sad news in the world today. One of our heroes, our pioneers, Mr. Representative John Lewis, Senator John Lewis, passed away, and he was right there on the front lines in the civil rights movement. I love this picture.
Yeah.
But he marched with Dr. King, and he has spent his entire life fighting tirelessly for all of our rights. And he's gone home to meet the Lord. You know, he fought the good fight, and now he's resting on the other side. So I just wanted to give him a special moment of silence to Rep Senator John Lewis.
Just
give him a little moment of silence. A
moment of silence for a drum major for justice, John Lewis. May you rest in power. We thank you for your contribution to our society, to your people, and your memory and your legacy shall live on. For the young men and women out there who are looking to aspire to do anything rather than picking up a basketball or a football or a MIC, I suggest that you follow in the footsteps of Senator John Lewis. He was a drum major for justice, and it wasn't about him. It was about you and I. And we stand on the shoulders of all the things that he accomplished, all the things that he stood for, and his legacy shall live on. And I hope that it lives on between you and I.
Yeah, that's so great.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And well, in other news, entertaining news, your girl,
come on,
your girl, Miss Nasty Girl Jackson.
Well, Constance, I just want to go on and steal the MIC and tell you that is Penny from Good Times, done growed up real good.
She would always be Penny.
Well, listen, Janet Jackson has taken the huge epic step as a living legend, as an icon that paved the ways for the likes of Carrie Hilson and Beyonce. Janet Jackson is looking to do a biopic about her life and times. And I'm sure it is going to be an absolutely enthralling story because she grew up with our favorite five brothers to get up on the stage with the sequins and do the dance moves that rival the Temptations, the Jackson Five. So shout out to Janet Jackson. I was going to say something else, but I love Janet Jackson. The original Janet Jackson was even better than what we see today.
I agree. I thought her biopic was remember the video Control. Yeah,
oh man.
Remember Malona was her mama on that video, remember?
Yeah. I
want to do what I want to do. Her mama in real life.
Yeah, shout out to Janet Dubois. She was another queen. Yeah, R.I.P. of the television Good Times. Yeah, Malona. For all my Good Times listeners out there. Hey, yo, that's right. She can sing too. Remember that?
She sang Moving On Up by the Jeffersons.
Yeah, she sang. Oh my, greens don't burn in the kitchen, beans don't burn on the grill. Took a load out of 2 hours just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues, getting our turn at bat. As long as we live, you and me, baby, ain't nothing wrong with that. We're moving on up.
You are retarded.
Man, I love
it. I'm just as retarded as you.
Well, listen, Constance, if you ever decide that you want to quit your day job, you are doing mighty fine as a newscaster. Do you have any more news that we can use?
Nah, but you know what I do want to do is I do want to just recognize one of the celebrities who shouted us out. That would be Mr. Sinbad. He had a couple of words for us. You want to see it?
That's Sinbad. Oh,
yeah,
God.
You want to hear? Here you go.
Constance, what's up? What's up? This is Sinbad. What's up? Now, your boy Robert wanted me to say something funny to you. You know what I told him? Hell no, I ain't doing that. I'm just playing. I'm just playing, y'all, man. I'm going to tell you, Robert, congratulations. Congrats on y'all's new show, Conversation Starters Live. I ain't telling about it. Man, you tell me what to do, Robert. All right. Peace. Put me on the show.
Did you tell him to say that?
That boy is funny. No, Sinbad got a mind of his own, sister, and I wish I could tell him what to do. I did ask him to say something a little funny. You know, he's a comedian. He gets paid to make people laugh. So just say something funny.
Well, okay. One last thing.
Is it funny?
No, it's not funny. It's kind of serious. So there's been something that's been going on in the news. It's to spank or not to spank. And there's a little.
You mean like a whooping?
Like a whooping. Like a whooping. Did you ever get a whooping?
Yeah, I got a whooping. Can I tell you my whooping story real quick?
Sure.
When I was about 11 or 12, right? Mm-hmm. I was taller than my mama. So in my mind, I was a grown ass man. All right.
But your mama's only like 5 feet tall though.
Yeah, she 5'2" on her best day.
Okay.
And her best girlfriend at the time, Miss Carolyn. Hey, Miss Carolyn.
Hey, Miss Carolyn.
In my mind, we had a thing going on. That was the original me and Mrs. Jones. Well, anyway, I don't remember why my mother was so upset, but when she came in the house, you know, she kind of rose up on me a little bit. And I guess I didn't give the proper response. Oh. And she made me go to my room. And do you know my mama's shorter than me now? I didn't even have a chance to properly greet Miss Carolyn because Miss Carolyn was well endowed and she gave the best hugs, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, so that's why you like Miss Carolyn.
Well, she has some nice lips too. But anyway, that's beyond the point. My point is this.
Kiss you.
My mama, I ain't gonna tell you. My mama took me to my room and she started spanking me. Now, mind you, I'm 2-3 inches taller than my mama. I'm looking down at her while she's spanking me. So I wasn't gonna cry. Number one, because it didn't hurt. And number two, I'm a grown man. Miss Carolyn is in the other room. But when I saw the look in my mama's eyes that she wasn't gonna stop until I shouted, screamed, something, I went on and let some tears out. And I remember being mad at my mama for about 2 weeks, not because she gave me a whooping. It's because she spanked me in front of Miss Carolyn. Woo! It just messed up my whole player game at 11 or 12.
You thought she was a player. Well, let's look at this little whooping video. And we want to know what you think. Is this discipline or sit your ass down?
Sit down over there somewhere.
Is it discipline? So I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? Is this discipline or is this abuse? For me personally, I don't know. He hitting that baby kind of hard. And that baby's no more than maybe 3 years old. Boyce, really? Did you see what Boyce said? Boyce Watkins said it is discipline.
Boys would say that. I mean, Boyce is old school, and sometimes you got to raise your hand.
Now, listen, I whoop my kids. I mean, I spank my kids. However, he was a little bit hard on them babies. I don't know if I would go that hard. So I would probably just pat. I think a couple of little pats, a little bit nicer, would have probably did the trick. He hit that baby a little bit too hard for my taste.
You know what? What's happening, everybody? Boyce Watkins out there in the feed. Thank you for watching. If you're out there in the Conversation Starters Live audience, you know how we do. We want to make sure that we have active engagement. So make sure you tell your mom and them, your cousin and them that Constance and Robert are on Conversation Starters Live. Shout out to the very one and only Boyce Watkins, who does not mind raising the right hand of God.
He said, I got many ass whoopers in my day, and I deserve them all. Come on, Boyce. Was it that hard? See, as a mama, it hurts my heart. See, when my husband disciplines my kids, I just be like, and sometimes I have to go up there and I be like, okay, that is enough. It's enough. Because my dad used to tell me, Niecy, they call me Niecy, I don't want to get on you because if I get on you, I ain't gonna be able to get off you. And I remember them hardcore whoopings, and I just don't believe that they're necessary these days. Nicole said he gonna learn the date.
He gonna learn the date.
Boyce, you ain't right. So that's how you whooping 3-year-olds?
Listen.
What do you think?
Here's the deal. No, things have changed now. Real quick, I don't want to take this left, but in today's climate, if you hit your kids to harm them, if they should happen to make a phone call to social services, to the police, you as a parent are going to jail that day. That's real talk.
You're gonna learn that day. You're gonna go to jail that day.
Yeah, you see, you got to be real strategic with your spankings now, parents. You got to master the one hit or quitters. Like they don't even know what happened. Like something happened around in this region.
I'm asking you, is that discipline or is that abuse? That's a little bit. It's in between.
Well,
it's abuse. It's not abuse.
Yeah, it depends on. This is my answer. It depends on how far back the hand goes. Now, if you give him a quick little chop, no, that's within the lines. But if you going way back here, like to Arizona, and you coming back, yeah, that's abuse. But I'm surprised that it was a non-melanated parent that was giving so much discipline. I've never seen that before.
That's the biggest thing of it all, is that he was non-melanated.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Usually they go with the timeout option or something like that, but I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, listen, I've gotten hit with hangers. Now, my mama didn't whip me with no hanger. Let me tell you my whooping, one of my whooping stories. I've gotten some growing up. I didn't get a whole lot. One time, me and my sister, we were fighting. I forgot, maybe wore her clothes or something. We fight. It's kind of like the Cosby Show episode. So we fighting. So my dad comes over. He tries to break us up, and we just like knock him out, and he just falls on the ground. Like, my dad, it was kind of dramatic. He falls on the ground. So my mom comes over there with a hanger. She's like, y'all stop. So that I have gotten whooped with a wire hanger before.
So you didn't get a spank, you got a whooping. I got
a whooping, yeah. I've gotten whoopings, just not a whole lot. I just don't really feel that they're super necessary. I can tell my kids that I'm very disappointed in you, and it'll straighten them up.
Yeah, you know what? If you phrase the words the right way, it's just as lethal as a spanking. But right now, let me tell all the parents out there who are watching in Conversation Starters Live. If you don't want to go to jail and you really, really want to get your point across, I got the move for you. Hope the kids are not listening. What? All you have to do, lean in real close. Take their cell phone and turn it off. Take their cell phone and turn it off. You will see your kid turn into the exorcist. They would rather take the whooping rather than you take their cell phone.
Right about that.
Yeah.
Listen, boy said spankings don't even hurt. I would have laughed at a spanking, but talking to kids is better than beating the hell out of them. You're absolutely right. And just the other day, just last week, because I whooped he just turned 14. I whooped him about 3 months ago because he was fighting. And he knew he was going to get a whooping. And I really wanted his dad to whoop him because I don't like whooping. But it was like his dad didn't whoop him because it was about a girl. And he was fighting over a girl. And his dad was
whoa. You beat him because he liked girls?
No, because he was fighting over a girl. And so his dad probably thought it was honorable. So he wouldn't whoop him. So I felt I had to whoop him, right? I felt I had to whoop him. And so I go and I whoop him. And he's like, my little whooping, it was just like a fly, just, I tried really hard to make him, make him feel it, but
he got his grown man on you, Constance.
Yeah, he told my daughter the other day that didn't even hurt.
Well, listen,
I still try. It was for the effect. It was like, you're gonna get a whooping, and I had to be a mom of my word and whoop his butt, but it did absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the other secret, Constance. If you say you're gonna do it, you got to go through with it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be faking with the whooping. When you put the whooping announcement out there, and they still violate the code.
Right. Pops wouldn't do it. So guess who had the whooping?
Mama had to do it.
Mm-hmm. Even though it didn't even hurt. But Boyce is right. Rob is right. Just take their cell phone away.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. That's everything.
Yeah, that's everything. Everything.
So before we transition to our very, very, very special guest, we want to make sure that you are sharing this information. Share, because you are in for a very, very, very special treat. But we want you to share this because we don't want anybody else to miss out on this very, very, very special treat.
Absolutely. So without any further ado, I would like to present to some and introduce to others.
You ain't introduced
one of the smoothest brothers to ever grace a radio station. If you have Sirius Radio, if you have iHeartRadio, if you got a pulse in your body right now, if you heard a man playing a saxophone, I guarantee you, if you were rocking to it and you felt some type of way, 90% of the time, it was the one and only Gerald Albright.
All right.
Hey.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
How you guys doing today?
What's going on, Dr. Albright? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm fantastic. It's a good day. How you guys doing? You good?
Oh, beautiful. We're happy that you are here. We're happy to hear from you. We're happy to see you. We're happy to see you all looking all debonair in your home office.
Yeah, you know.
Now, Constance, you see the collar? Now you know he's showing up somebody.
it looked like he got like the little smoke robe on, you know, like he just with that, little cognac, you know what I'm saying?
I had to come correct for the two of you, you know. I had to look in the closet for the right shirt for the interview, you know what I'm saying?
I love it. Pimperish.
Well,
I'm not even gonna give him pimperish. It's just so smooth, you know. It's smooth. That's all I can tell you, as a jazz musician should be. Well, it's Friday, Mr. Albright, and we are so glad that you're hanging out with us. You know, we've literally grown up to your music. You've been the soundtrack to our lives in so many situations, and we are just honored to have you on the screen. So I'm not going to love on you too much because the fellas back home going to be like, go on with all that, man. But I want to make sure that I give you your just due, respect due. Sir, you have been the bomb.com for my mama and them, my auntie and them, and you certainly have gotten me through a whole bunch of stressful evenings when I just needed to close my eyes and hear something smooth. And one album in particular, not to jump ahead of myself, was you and Norman Brown.
Oh,
that whole album right there. That album right there.
Yeah. That whole album.
That was fun. That was fun.
Whole album.
Yeah.
Me.
Man, Norman is one of my all-time favorite guitarists. And when we decided, actually leading up to that, there's a short story. I used to always see him in the airports. That's the only way I could see Norman, you know, because we're all traveling and stuff. And I would see him. There was this like row of traveling where, like, in a month's time, I saw him 2 or 3 times in the airport, and I'm like, okay, this must mean something.
Yeah.
And that third time, I said, you know, we need to get on the phone and talk about doing a collaboration. And from that short talk, man, the 24/7 album came out, and we went on tour shortly thereafter. It was one of the most fun experiences of my life. It was great.
Dude, shout out to Reggie.
Yeah,
the whole album.
The whole album was fire. I could just imagine being in the studio and just watching magic happen, and you guys just jamming all night. You just collaborating and just thinking about stuff and just jamming and just. I mean, it was probably you probably didn't even want to go home. I mean, I can imagine, you know, when you just play with people like that are on that level, it just feels so good. And I could just imagine what those sessions were like, you know, on day after day.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. Now, because, and I make this point again, we're traveling so much and we're doing our own things respectively. It was a high-tech type of project that we put together. I did a lot in my own studio. He did a lot in his own studio. And then we came together when it was time to mix and make it, you know, put the shine and the finishing touches on it. But I'm gonna tell you, when we started the tour, what you're describing is exactly what happened on stage. You know, it was just magical, and there was just an instant connection. It was a real, genuine conversation musically on stage, and we didn't want to get off stage. You know, it was. I can only
imagine.
Well, listen, I know for sure, Constance, I was at one of those concerts because I remember when I saw Norman Brown's name on the bill. Now, there are some jazz artists that I do know, and I know what I like when I hear it, and that just sets my mood. You know, that's recalibration when I hear jazz, because my dad listened to jazz all the time. So I grew up with it, but I didn't know who Norman Brown was until I saw him on stage with you. And I'm being honest. I'm telling you, shout out to Norman Brown. You're a bad mamma jamma.
Oh my God, yes. I was
first introduced to Norman Brown through this man on the center screen, Mr. Gerald Albright, and that is a great collaboration. Like I said, that whole album, I can listen to it any time of day.
All day.
Fire.
Thank you for that. I'll have to let Norman know.
Let him know.
Sir.
You got to know.
Let me ask you this. I know that there's one project that really is pulling at your heartstrings. This is a project that you're working on, and this is the Musicians Fund. Because of COVID, everything that's going on with COVID, people aren't working. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I did a series of 3 live streams from my home studio, and my home studio is called G's Place. So it was like, you know, at home with G at G's Place.
Yeah.
And I was very concerned about musicians, both who I knew and who I didn't know. And all of a sudden, this pandemic just jumped on everybody. And now people went from paying bills and paying mortgages and stuff to, okay, what do we do next?
Yeah.
And so, you know, at that point, they were talking about, you know, the stimulus package and when are the checks going to come? And I said, well, you know, that electric bill is not going to wait on that stimulus check.
Right.
So what I did in the form of the platforms of like Cash App and PayPal, I did a concert, and I asked the listeners to donate funds, which they were very supportive, by the way. Thank you, listeners, for doing that. And we turned that money right around, and we issued it to musicians who needed help. And so we did a series of 3 live streams, and I was very honored and proud to just kind of pay it forward. And the musicians were very appreciative. So it was just something that I felt I wanted to do while I was home, you know, and just do a good deed. I think all of us need to do our good deeds for the day, you know.
Yeah.
Now, do you still have that? Is that still going on? Is there something that we can still donate to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Gerald AA, or
wait.
Yeah.
Gerald AA.
Yeah, the $.
Hold on, Constance. I'm not there yet. Wait a minute. I'm still on the pay part.
I'm posting it in the chat. Gerald AA.
Okay, $
Gerald AA. Or you can go to PayPal and use the what is that @ sign, the A circle, Gerald AA and the number 1. And between those 2 formats, you can donate, and I'm sure the musicians would be elated for the financial support.
Constance, I just put 5 on it.
Right on, Robert.
Wow. Thank you, brother.
I put a 0 behind it though.
Oh, God bless you.
Yes, sir.
God bless you.
I love it. So Gerald, I mean, that is an absolutely admirable thing to do. I'm not sure how you came about doing that, but paying it forward is a big part of what Constance and I believe in. And we certainly like to do that, celebrate Black excellence, Black businesses. So when you are supporting your community in such a way with cash, you know, it's one thing to give some kind words, to give some awards and trophies, but when you do it with some dollar bills, that is completely awesome. And I salute you for doing that. But one question I wanted to ask you though, jazz is such an improvisational music and art form, right? Hip hop artists, they have icons like African Bambaataa that they can look back to, Curtis Blow, right? R&B artists can look back to whomever their icons are. So is there like a Mount Rushmore for you of jazz musicians, or are there some godfathers that you kind of look to and say, I got to steal a little bit of that? Well, let me take the word steal back, but you pattern what you do. Borrow. Yeah, that's a better word.
We've been inspired by.
Yeah, I've been inspired by.
Well, that's a great question, Rob. If I could just say that there's 2 saxophonists that are like my musical bookends. When I was younger, and I still am, a huge James Brown fan. Huge. My older brother, had virtually every album that James recorded. So I'm listening to this music in the household, and suddenly this crystal clear alto saxophone comes out of all this funk, and James calls on Maceo Parker.
Maceo!
When I heard Maceo, I was like, okay, that's what a saxophone should sound like. So yeah. I tried to emulate him for years. And whenever I see him, I've been on some jazz festivals with him. You know, I pull him aside and I say, look, man, you got to know and you got to believe that you were one of the catalysts behind my career. And I'm like, Gerald, man, shut up, man. Don't even. No, I'm like, please, you got to hear this, you know. But he was very influential. And then later on, in latter part of high school, going into college, I was introduced to Cannonball Adderley. That's the other side. Okay. And so if I had to describe my sound, it's a fusion between Maceo and Cannonball. But now along the way, of course, there's some seasonings of Grover Washington.
Come on, Robert.
Stanley Turrentine.
Yes.
Earl Bostic. On the traditional side, you know, John Coltrane and Charlie Parker.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people who I truly admire as saxophonists. And you know, there are vocalists who, because a saxophone is like the human voice, there's some vocalists who I like emulating, like, you know, Ella Fitzgerald, Luther Vandross, or Johnny Hartman. You know, we try to emulate that phrasing that they do in their recordings, you know, because it's all relative.
Yeah.
So Constance, let me butt in, because you brought up a great point. So it has always been amazing to me. Like, you can truly tell a musician when they're able to catch the tone, the tenor, and the cadence of a song, and like they right in it, like they do the little bridge, and then they catch like a Luther riff, or an Anita Baker, like a improvisation, like when you can catch that and capture it on whatever instrument you're playing, like
that's
that boy is good.
That's everything.
How do you do that? Is that just an inspiration? Is it practice? Like,
yeah, it's all of that. It's instinct, is inspiration, is practice, it's repetition. I like to feel that I'm personally in direct line with my spirit. So when I hear a vocalist that really hits me here, I have more of a tendency to listen closer and hear those vocal inflections, and that's what really speaks to me.
Yeah. Do you think that jazz musicians get their just due though? Because jazz is a great art form. It is, it's the foundation of and the mother of all music. But do you feel like the jazz artists get get the same respect that, say, an R&B or a pop artist get?
It's unfortunately a regional thing, and I say that because a lot of musicians that I know have moved to places like Europe, because in Europe and neighboring countries there, they treat jazz artists like rock and roll stars.
Wow.
I mean, the respect level is like 100-fold. But there is a level, obviously, of respect here in the States. But in terms of the notoriety of the genre, I think it's lacking overall in comparison to other genres. It's American art form, and all the genres that you hear on the radio stem from jazz.
Right.
So you need to look back over your shoulder and say, okay, no, we need to pay more respect to what's going on and what happened back 40, 50 years ago or longer,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now there's just some really talented people that I don't think that gets their just due. They don't get the notoriety. You've been nominated for some Grammys. You haven't won a Grammy as of yet, right? But you've been certainly nominated and recognized, which is huge. But I'd like to see more. I'd like to see you guys recognized more because you're a legend.
Well, thank you for that. I love to see that more too. It's a political overtone to it too. And we can go deep. We can go deep on it, but I'm sure you can read between the lines on that statement. It's a political thing, and but guys like myself and my comrades are on a mission to really broaden the popularity and the respect level of what we do. We're on that mission on a daily basis. So.
And I totally agree with you, Gerald, because you think about some of the best soundtracks, movie soundtracks. Mm-hmm. Take Spike Lee when he came out, he had all his dad stuff on there, and he tried to make sure that he shouted out so many jazz musicians that he heard growing up.
Yeah.
I watched a movie called The Photograph, and I went out and bought the music track, the motion picture soundtrack, because there were no words. They were all jazz. When you can deliver that right song to capture that right moment, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's a shame that, it comes down to such a political decision about, what is popular music, because, what I listen to as an 18-year-old, I'm not really listening to right now.
Right.
And you give me some jazz, like that's my jam. But the one thing I wanted to ask you was, you talked about Europe and abroad, but once we get out of COVID, what is your spot you can't wait to get back to? Like that's your jam. The music, the energy, the vibration is like that's your spot.
Man, that is the $1 million question right there. I mean, there's a lot of places I like for particular reasons, I feel like it would be somewhere on the East Coast.
Really? Wow.
It's something about DC.
Now, why did you say that? Now, why did you say that?
Well, I tend to do more performances on the East Coast. And I believe, if I spoke to my agent, he would probably say, there's more demand on the East Coast than maybe other regions of the country. Some of the biggest jazz festivals that I played are on the East Coast, the Capitol Jazz Festival. But that being said, I'm originally from South Central Los Angeles. And whenever I go home, I feel the love. I really do feel the love. But yeah, it's
on the East, huh?
you know, I just love the blessing of being able to be in good health and still be at the top of the game and just go on anybody's stage is an honor for me, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I embrace the whole globe. I always tell people say, well, you know, what do you do for a living? I say I'm a musician, and the world is my office, you know? And so I just love going to work. I don't care if it's the smallest, smokiest club or a venue of 75,000 people.
Yeah.
It all relates to me. I'm just glad to be at it after doing it for so many years, you know.
Yeah. So that was one of my questions, is like, what's your favorite type of venue to play at? Because my favorite, I love supper clubs. I love going to smaller venues and just kind of having that vibe where you don't have a whole, you know, it's not a whole stadium, but I also love a jazz festival, you know, just being out and feeling the vibe. Like, how does that feel? The sun is beating down. There's a sea of people that are on lawns and lawn chairs, just having a good time. Everybody is vibing. You have families, you have people all walks of life, like that. It just, the energy is just electric. You know what I mean?
It really is, Constance. And you know, it's a rush for me.
Yeah.
You know, before they introduced me on the side of the stage, I'm standing on the side of the stage, and when the MC introduces me, I still, after 35 years, get that butterfly, you know. It's like, oh my God, he just called my name. Let's go.
I'm doing that first drum hit.
Yeah, you know, and at that point, it's all about the groove. And as we go down the set list and do certain tunes, you know, people start getting up and they start dancing. You're talking about multitudes of people feeling good, and when you can deliver that off the stage, that's the greatest compliment in the world for me. That's why I got in the game, you know.
Yeah, and COVID just got us all locked up, and we can't.
Who do we call?
Right. Who do we tell it? But who do we tell? God, can you please let us off?
Thanks to Jesus.
Please.
Yeah.
Because we got to get out of here. We got to get out of this house. We got to get to some jazz festivals. We need to get some concerts.
We got to do it. I posted something on Instagram. Somebody posted a picture that I really liked on Facebook, and I downloaded it and put it on my IG page, where I'm just standing up playing on stage, and the caption was, "I want to get back to this."
Come on.
Yeah. And I miss it. I mean, that's where I come. But you know what's interesting? A lot of musicians, and I've heard it many, many times, I've said it myself, that when we get on the backside of this pandemic, once we are able to hit that stage, there's going to be so much energy that has been built up in us. I don't know if the audience is going to be able to take it. Because
right.
You know what I'm saying?
They're going to give us freeway on that.
It's going to be just on another level because we haven't done it in 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So we have all this energy built up musically and otherwise.
Oh, it's going to feel so good.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, Gerald, make sure that you come back to the Capitol Jazz Fest. That is one of the hottest jazz fests in the country, Constance. Where can you go to get Anita Baker and her farewell tour, the Phyllis Hyman Review, Fantasia, Babyface? There was Rochelle Farrell, Layla Hathaway, Uncle Charlie. I mean, like, it was so many hits for 3 days. Like, these folks can headline by themselves. But Mr. Albright, when you come to the Capitol Jazz Fest, look for a light-skinned cat. Usually I'm no further than 5 rows back.
All right.
I'm going to shout you out, man. Just go ahead and give me a little dip, because I've seen you roll and just do your thing, man. It is amazing.
Thank you, man. I can't wait. I really look forward to it.
Yeah. So as we move along, I mean, we were talking about Baby Penny, little Janet Jackson. She's getting ready to have a biopic. So when we do the Gerald Albright biopic, because you have been legendary, you're still a living legend. You've been iconic, as a matter of fact. Can you think of a leading man who should be best be cast to play Gerald Albright?
Wow. A leading man. Who would that be? Kirk Whalum.
Oh, Kirk. My man, Kirk. Kirk's smooth too.
Come on.
Man, look, Kirk is my boy, man.
I love Kirk.
Kirk is smooth too.
Yes, he is, man. Kirk, much respect to him, man. One of the finest tenor players of our time. And I just love his spirit. We have celebrated a great friendship of multiple decades. We've been side musicians together with Whitney Houston and a host of other folks. And then we got our respective record deals in the 80s. And in terms of brothers in spirit, we connect so tightly, both on and off stage. There's a oneness there that is second to none. And whenever I have the opportunity to perform with him, I'm like, okay, yeah, here we go. So Kirk, I think Kirk would be great.
Yeah, real quick, Constance. Let me say this. So Kirk is a bad boy. I've been liking Kirk for a long. Before I even knew what his name was, I've been loving Kirk. But when he did the gospel according to jazz, when he did the Layla Hathaway "Make Me a Believer,"
oh, come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my joint right there.
All day long. Yeah.
Yes, that's my joint. So talking about current saxophonists like yourself, your colleagues, who are your top five? Like you just said Kirk. So who are your top five saxophonists?
Current.
I'm trying to make Gerald get in trouble.
Only five.
The list is longer than five, but Kirk is on that list. Wow, see, that's a tough question, Constance, because a lot of my favorite players aren't with us anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
But I would say some of the beasts out there: Kirk Whalum, Sanborn, David Sanborn,
David,
Everett Harp is a beast. Joshua Redman, Branford Marcellus,
woo, the whole Marcellus clan.
Yeah, these are guys that really did the homework. You can tell that they spent hours upon hours in the practice room and said, okay, no shortcuts. I'm going to do this for real. You can hear it in their playing. The other thing, just a side note, my favorite players are those who, when they put the mouthpiece in their mouth, they're telling a story.
There we go.
They're not just playing notes, but you can almost read their birth certificate by the way they play.
Come on, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
And when it gets to that level, I mean, let's say on guitar, B.B. King, when B.B. King played a guitar, you heard his entire story.
Yeah.
You know where he comes from. You know what kind of food he likes to eat.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of slang he's going to use when he talks. I mean, everything is in that guitar Lucille's. Well, the same thing applies to saxophone players. There's certain guys like a Kirk Whalum who you can hear their story. And that is the synonym to that is the it factor. That's what I think is the it factor for a musician, where you can hear the story.
So it's interesting that you said that, Gerald, because this is between Constance and I, because we're such music aficionados. So we love when we come to the concert, including the jazz festival, we know your song. We listen to your song. We sing your song. And when you get on stage, for my $199 or whatever it is I paid for this ticket, I want you to sing the song just like the CD. If you get up there, stop playing with me now. you get a Johnny Gill or a Fantasia, and I love them both. Yeah. They go running from here down Mississippi and back. I'm like, that ain't the song right there. I ain't going to applaud that. That is not the song.
I hear you on that, man. I hear you. Absolutely.
But there's so much improvisation with jazz, and you could just do whatever, and it still feels good. I mean, just sax is just a little bit different. It still feels good no matter how you play it, no matter if you switch it up, no matter if you go another octave up, no matter if you modulate, whatever it is, it's still going to be good because they tell a story. And when we talk to Avant, that's the same thing he said. There's a difference when you can tell a story, and that I believe that's what separates, the different artists, just like you said.
Well, the two of you made a good point earlier in the conversation. You were saying that jazz is total improvisation. It's in a millisecond of time, the brain is translating what the spirit is bringing to the surface.
Yeah.
When you get 5 or 6 guys on stage, depending on what mood they're in, they may play certain chords on Saturday night that they didn't play on Friday night, which makes you play different. It's like, okay, that chord, that wasn't there last night. So now I have to build on that chord. So in the direction of your request, Rob, I'll try to in the future play the song as close to the record as I can, but I can't make no promises.
Hey, listen, you know what?
Throw me energies that make me do different things, you know.
So let me tell you what happened. So Constance, she knows so many people, right? You heard her drop the name of Vaughn. We've got so many great guests coming up, Gerald. So we encourage you to continue watching Conversation Starters Lives because it's going to be fire all the way through. But we learned from a bass player, Eric Pickfunk Smith. He said we can play the same 4 songs, right? 4 different days, and you're gonna get 4 different variations of the song, and they all gonna be fire, right? Absolutely. But it's hard to replicate a vibe and the energy, like you said, like and then a true musician kind of pick up on it. Like I know you hear the pitch or the melody may be a little different, but you just kind of ride that thing and keep the groove going. And, that true musicianship is just incredible to watch.
It's a gift from God. Everybody knows.
It is a gift. Yeah, it's figuring out a musical puzzle in real time. You know, so that's the challenge. When you get on stage, you don't know what mood your band is in. You don't know if they're in a kind of a happy mood or whatever it is, and you just go out there and you close your eyes and you just kind of digest what they give you, and through your microphone, you transcend that to the crowd. And that's always fascinated me. When I listen to recordings of live performances that I've done, I'll play things that I've never practiced before because it's in real time, and whatever lick I played was directly reflective of, let's say, the keyboard player playing a particular chord. It may not be something that was rehearsed before I got on stage.
Yeah.
So I'll play something totally different. I'm like, man, where did that lick come from? But that's the beauty of it. And here we go, jazz.
Improvisation.
The genre that facilitates that kind of improvisation. You have total freedom.
Total freedom.
Some people say even the bad notes sound good in jazz.
Right. But it feels good. It sounds good.
Yeah, as long as you mean it, it's all good.
As long as you mean it, it's all good.
Yeah, you know what, Constance? I know that's a great point because I know when I listen to some of the jazz that my dad used to listen to when I would go down in the basement and he had a cool cigarette hanging out of his mouth reading the newspaper. Like some of the licks, I was like, that sounded like he messed up, but he kept rolling with it. Back in the days of the Cotton Club, when they were playing music where they didn't have the chance to rerun the tape and do a do-over. I mean, they just went with it, put it on wax, and that's what you got.
Yeah.
So the improvisation was shown up live back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I myself, I'm working on album number 21 now. And when I think about my discography and being in the studio, like the old school way, when I'm actually in the studio with the musicians, and we're recording live, sometimes I'll play a note that's slightly out of tune, but I'll keep it because the vibe of that note is part of the story.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So not saying go back to all my records and find out where I played out of tune. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, sometimes it's more than the note being in tune. It's the feeling on top of the note. And so I told the engineer, we're going to keep that note. I don't care if it's out of tune or not, because that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that's where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Now you play the saxophone. Everybody knows you for the saxophone.
Yes.
But you also get down on the bass. What other instruments do you play? And what's your favorite instrument to play?
Well, I have to say alto saxophone is probably my first love because that's what I started out on. But I love the whole family of the saxophones from soprano, alto.
Now hold on. Now the alto is the what I call the Kenny G sax, the longer one.
No, that's the soprano. The soprano.
Okay.
Yeah. And the alto is like the next one in line in terms of size.
So choir. So you got the soprano which is a small one. And
alto, tenor.
Just asking for a friend.
Yeah. But I also play flute and alto flute and bass flute. For songwriting purposes, I play a little bit of keyboards, but you would never catch me on stage trying to do a 1 hour set on the piano. But as a reference, I love playing the keyboard. And I sing about that much. I've sung on several songs.
I've heard you sing.
Yeah, I love doing background. I love stacking background parts, But most of the singing I leave to my daughter now, who is the consummate singer. Selena.
Yeah, she can do a little something there.
Oh, Lord. I'm proud of her.
Yeah.
Speaking of the ladies, I mean, Gerald, I know that you can play with almost anybody and make them sound good and vice versa. So I hate to put you on the spot, but I've heard you play with some ladies, but I just like to know who are some of your faves. I'm not saying in any order, but if you could just shout out some people off the top of your head, we won't charge it to your heart. And in case any of them are listening to the Conversation Starters live broadcast, just tell us who you like playing with.
Well, I love playing with, I did love playing with Whitney Houston.
Really?
In fact, I always tell the story. There were certain nights where Whitney was so on, everything was just clicking. All the cylinders were just all in sync that I had to really concentrate to play my part as opposed to listening to her.
Really?
She would be killing so strongly on certain nights that sometimes I would forget what I'm doing on stage. Like,
hey, Gerald, did she have you making the face like,
oh my God, yeah.
That stank face.
Yeah.
Stank face, yeah.
Absolutely. Another one, Anita Baker, I've played with for several years. Recording on her records and did about 2.5, 3 years of touring with her. Yep. Both as a bassist and a saxophonist. And
Rochelle Farrell.
I'm sorry?
Rochelle Farrell.
Rochelle Farrell, I've done a lot of stuff with. Rochelle, it's vocals on steroids. I mean, she can go low, she can go high, and everything in the middle.
Ridiculous. Do you hear me? Ridiculous.
She's phenomenal. I just ran across a YouTube of hers. I don't know what the venue was, but it had to be 5,000-10,000 people out there. And she was just ripping it, But we go back to when she was a background singer with Phyllis Hyman. She was a section leader and background singer for Phyllis Hyman, who was one of my favorite vocalists. Yes. And Rochelle and I used to have these long conversations about music and, just real nourishing kind of stuff. And then when she got a record deal, which was truly deserved, she just flourished. She just blossomed, and I'm so proud of her.
So Gerald, do me a favor. I love Rochelle Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rochelle is one of the people that I'm talking about. When she came to the Jazz Fest, she did about 15 minutes worth of
leave Rochelle alone. You let her do her
like,
thing.
Rochelle, come on now, sit down somewhere or sing the song.
No.
Do one or the other, but you can't keep doing that.
Rochelle can do that. Don't do that.
I had to go to the bathroom, so I knew the song she was supposed to sing.
Hey.
You can't do that.
Constance said, "Don't you talk about Miss Jenkins."
Don't, right. You are so disrespectful. Don't talk about Miss Jenkins. You are so disrespectful, Robert. Don't do it.
You're talking about Miss Jenkins. Yeah, well, she has so much musicality in her, man. She can come so many different ways with the music. Vocal acrobatics to the max, whatever mood she's in,
Come on, and that's what she's gonna do. Whatever mood she's in at that time, it's not going to be the same. So don't go to a Rochelle Farrell concert thinking you're gonna get nothing has ever felt this way, like the way she did it on the record. It's just not going to happen.
No, it's gonna be different every night.
It's
gonna be different,
15 minutes.
I am enjoying it. I am enjoying it. And she makes the ugliest faces, but makes the
exactly. What was going on? I didn't know.
Yeah. Come on.
Let it be said though, a lot of guys like sitting in the front row because of those ugly faces.
Yes.
I'm gonna leave that alone. Hey, I'm gonna leave it there.
Come on.
Here we go. Next question. Here we go.
You work with George Duke.
Oh yeah.
How was it working with George Duke, the legend?
George, I tell people all the time, he was my industry dad. people always thought we were like a father-son kind of team. Yeah. It had something to do with the cheeks. If you look at George,
I love beautiful spirit.
Yeah, and whenever we would do recording sessions together, some of the other musicians would say, you know, "Oh, you little George."
Yeah, little George.
Which was a great compliment, by the way.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I miss him dearly. I still have a text message from him on my phone that I refuse to delete.
Wow.
He was doing a jazz festival in Big Bear, which is in the mountains of Southern California. Yeah. And he was on my mind, and I just texted him. I said, hey, Papa G, how you doing today? And this is when he was like, this was during his illness. Mm-hmm. And he must have been on stage getting ready to play, because he gave me 3 words, and I asked him how he was doing. He said, "On the mend." ... Yeah, on the mend. And the next thing I heard, he had left us.
Yeah.
So
too soon.
Yeah, but what a legacy of music he left behind. He's just timeless. And I'm so proud and blessed to have worked with him both in the studio and live.
Yeah.
So Constance, you know what? I just want to say right now that I am pinching myself. Y'all can't see, like up here, I'm like cool, but I'm pinching myself because I'm on screen with
what a legend,
Gerald Albright. Yeah, living legend.
Thank you very much.
What I want you to do right now, if you're in the Conversation Starters live listening audience, I told you one time to tell your mom and them. I told you to share this thing out. I told you to heart it up and like it up. I'm going to ask the question y'all keep texting me about. If you see me looking down, Gerald, it's because 111 people keep saying, is he going to play? I mean, make him play. Ask him to play, please. Anything. I mean, he's really intelligent, but please ask the brother to play. So for a friend, Mr. Gerald Albright, I know that you are a jazz icon, an aficionado. And I know that you can do anything. You know, Constance, one time I asked Constance to say a rap. We were on a live, and let me tell you, this child did a whole rap with no fear. So I love fearless people. And, it would bless us so if you would just spit a little something in your read and just
watch out now.
Well, you know, Rob, since you're gonna make me do it, man, I'm gonna take you all the way back. I'm gonna take you all the way back to the beginning, 1987. I borrowed a tune from a gentleman that we talked about earlier in the conversation, Luther Vandross.
Okay.
And I borrowed a tune called "So Amazing." Which, went something like this.
Put a little stank on the end, you understand?
Yeah, a little something.
Jerry Walter said that was the best rendition ever.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And you know what's so amazing about that, Mr. Albright? I mean, when I start calling people Mr. and put their last name on it, I truly respect and have been blessed by your presence. And just put just a little something on it, Constance. Did you hear that?
I heard it. I have chills running down my body right now.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the close your eyes kind of good stuff that you need to hear.
I closed my eyes.
Did you?
Right.
You know, Luther is one of my favorites.
Constance, is it Big Luther or Little Luther, or it just don't matter?
You know what? Luther didn't lose it when he was little. People always compare Big Luther to Little Luther. He never lost it. Yeah. Visually, he was more appealing to me as Big Luther. But but I just enjoyed him. But he is one of the best singers, all times, who left us prematurely. What do you think about Mr. Luther Vandross? You've worked with him as well.
I have. I wish I had the chance to work with him a lot more. but just a great guy, just full of music. That type of voice is just God-given. You know, you just can't practice that. That's a talent that's just God-given. And his tone, his placement of the notes, his pronunciation of the words, it's just, and with Luther, it was a less is more thing. He could sing one note and just throw you under the table.
Hold
it. That's when you know you have true musicianship. Miles Davis was the same way with the trumpet. He could play one or two notes. It wasn't what he played, it's where he played it and the vibe that was on it.
Yes, where he placed it, it was so simple, but the way he phrased it, it was just, he could take anything. He could sing "Mary Had a Little Lamb," but it just.
Which gets back to the story, telling the story with the homies.
Telling the story. And I've yet to see anybody, and there's a lot of great singers out there, but I've yet to see anybody who can do it like Gerald. Now, Will Downing is also, I mean, his vocals is, and I know you've worked a lot with Mr. Will.
We recorded a record together, and we did extensive touring in the 90s and some spot touring after that. A dear friend of mine that, you know, we're kind of like the craziest people when we get together. It gets so comedic that people really don't understand the comedy between us when they see us. They just go,
Will funny?
Oh, Will is hilarious.
He's so serious on stage, man.
Oh, look, man, that's all a front. Look, let me tell you. No, Will, debonair, don't get me wrong. Second to none, you know. But off stage, he's one of the most comedic guys and fun-loving guys that you've ever been around. Yeah. And he's quick with the jokes. He has that real timing that, you know, and we kind of bounce off of one another. And it's
is that right?
Sometimes we look at one another and go, you know, this is not right. This is not true.
They're supposed to be having this much fun.
Yeah, you know, this ain't fair. You know, it's all good. But that's the beauty of the hang with musicians and vocalists. It's all good.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Hey, Constance, I know that I asked one time, but I'm gonna ask again. Can you give just a smidgen of Champagne Life, because I don't have a champagne glass, but I know for a fact.
I'm so embarrassed.
People want to look. I'm sorry, Constance. I said I wasn't going to do it.
I'm sorry, Gerald.
You're gonna have to talk to Rob after the interview, Constance.
I'll send another cash app. I promise, right now. If you get a ping, that's me.
Oh, let me see.
Oh, you know what? Drop whatever you like.
Yeah. You drop whatever you like.
Whatever you like.
Let's see if we can get some champagne out of this. I'm trying to remember now.
Play whatever you like, Gerald. We just want to hear you play.
Let's see. I'll play the hook of Champagne.
Okay.
All right, that's all. That's it.
Man, you don't stop showing out right now.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Just having fun.
Oh my
yes,
God.
Sir.
Okay.
Before we let him go, Constance, we got to put him on the Conversation Starters Live. Really want to know Couch. Now, we know that you are a music genius. We have seen that in live and in living color, and I appreciate you, brother. But I've got to ask you my first really want to know question.
Look at Constance's face.
I really want to know.
Oh, boy.
Okay, and I love a little bit of controversy, so I apologize in advance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever pick up the broom or the vacuum cleaner on a Saturday, wash some dishes. If you're cleaning up and you had to pump somebody in a CD, the iPod, your Walkman, whatever you're listening to, if you had to choose between Patti LaBelle or Gladys Knight, who you choosing?
Can I tell you off camera? No. You know what? Woo! See, that's two totally different approaches to the music. I would have to say Gladys.
Okay.
I would have to say
that midnight train to Georgia.
Yeah, I would have to say Gladys. And that's hard, man, because I love Patty. You know, to me, they're neck and neck. But your question was, what would I pop in? It would probably be Gladys. I just really, really love Gladys's voice.
Yeah.
The story.
Yeah.
I hear the story. Not that I don't hear it with Patty, but there's a resonance in her voice that is just sexy to me. And I've seen her live. Of course, I've worn out the grooves on all of her records.
Yeah.
Never heard her voice crack. All these years, I've never heard her, and she's just so consistent. And her stage presence is just unbelievable. She really brings you in. It's kind of like you're in her living room and she's just vibing.
That's right.
That's the way she brings you in, you know.
That's right.
You know, to be honest, I saw I saw Gladys in the concert, and I was thinking, oh, Gladys, that's my mama's age. Like oh, here we go. I was not looking forward to it.
Don't sleep on Gladys.
I was pleasantly surprised when she came out there and did her. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. She brought it.
Too many hits.
Brought it.
I'm gonna tell you, Constance. I'm gonna tell her my mama
because I ain't know.
Listen, I'm gonna tell her my mama real quick. Mama, I love you, but just for the show, I just got to tell people they ain't gonna meet you anyway. My mama had a boyfriend, and she was sure enough mad because he loved himself some Gladys Knight, and I was too young to understand why the lips were such an important part of the body. They had the biggest argument about Gladys Knight's lips. I was clueless, but now that I'm older, we love you, Gladys.
Yeah,
everything.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with a woman with some lips.
Blessings on various levels.
I didn't say that, Miss Gladys, but I love your music. I swear I do.
Woo!
And if you've never met her, she's one of the nicest people on the planet.
Yes, sir.
Nicest people on the planet. You know, just her fame never changed her demeanor and her way of dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. And I really admire that. You know, she has a great, great spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Because when your spirit can transcend, you know, your status, that's everything.
Yes.
You can't take your attitude with you when you pass away. And you know, we were talking to Eric that time, and he was telling us one of the people in the industry that he thought was a super, super jerk. And he said, okay, maybe it's because this was this time of day. And then he was like, when I met him again, he was still a jerk. He said, hey, man, I look up to you. You're one of the greatest musicians. And dude looked at him like, and you know, and I'm sure you run into people like that all the time that think they're better just because they have money. But if you can just be a genuine person, regardless of your status, regardless if you have money, because at the end of the day, anything could happen and it could all be taken away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what do you have left? You know, your integrity. And if you don't have any of that, then you have nothing.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
You get so serious. Well, I got one more for you, Gerald, before we let you off the Conversation Starters live couch. We want to make sure you heart it up, that you put some likes out there in the feed. Make sure that you tell everybody in them that Gerald Albright is on the screen. So can you please settle this beef between Constance and I? You know, this is one of these love-hate relationships, more hate than love. And we agree on a lot of things, but music, as much as we love it, we kind of go in two separate directions. So can you please settle this for the people in the back? And especially my girl, my sister sitting right there.
Okay.
MJ or Prince? Greatest of all time.
MJ.
Okay, let's talk musicianship.
You always go there. You always go there.
Well, it's really depending on what you're asking. I mean, in terms of
entertainment
value, in terms of his videos, in terms of the way he thought, everything was big for Michael.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he really changed the music industry with his approach to videos and the sensational shows that he did. The production was just, you know, second to none. But now, if you're talking about musicianship, Prince, I mean, he can play anything,
everything, right? Yes,
very well.
Yes,
you know, and funk you under the table.
Yeah,
it's really depending on which category we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I appreciate both of them equally for what they do, you know. But Michael has always just been fascinating to me, just, you know, in terms of how he embraced the globe and how the globe embraced him.
Yeah. He was a superstar.
He was an absolute superstar. And he raised it. He was like what Tiger Woods does to golf. You know, he just raised the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, are you a golfer? Are either one of you golfers?
I can do a little something out there. If there was a time when I used to stay up the green, but I can do a little something.
All right.
I see you out there.
Oh yeah, you know that. I would be going crazy if I didn't have my music in golf. Yeah, that's what. Oh man, that's what settles me. I played a round of golf yesterday, and you know, just walking the course and seeing the wildlife, and with some social distancing, being out there with some friends of mine. Sure. I have a mask on and everything, you know. But it's just the greatest hang. You know, I'm a nature boy. You know. Yeah. No doubt.
I live by a golf course, and ain't nobody social distancing out there. I seen them out there, no masks on. I'm like, they ain't even doing what they supposed to.
Mask on, gotta have it, man.
They ain't out there doing what they supposed to be doing. Yep. So let me ask you this: so there's a heavyweight fight coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson.
Oh. Well, are we talking young Roy and young Mike?
They're getting ready
right now.
They are getting ready. Yes.
Yeah.
They are getting ready.
It's an exhibition match, but I think it might be 8 rounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be on top of that. I haven't seen Roy lately, but I've seen Mike. Mike is still in shape, man.
Yeah, I seen him try.
Good.
I'm scared for Roy.
Yeah, and if the punching power of a Mike Tyson, as long as you keep your ears out the way, you know, the punching power of a Mike Tyson is just second to none, man. So we'll just have to see what those 8 rounds bring.
Yeah, listen, Roy don't want that smoke.
Yeah.
Listen, I give Roy a fighter's chance simply because he probably has better ring generalship than Mike will. But that first round, Mike is going to be an absolute hurricane.
Oh yeah.
If he put hands on you, it might be a problem.
Yeah, it might be a problem. Yeah. I hope it lasts. I hope it's not one of those things where, you know, it's 30 seconds into the first round and then somebody gets knocked out. I mean, let give me 2-3 rounds at least. You know,
it might connect. It might be a problem.
Yeah. Well, you know, the one thing that is great about it, I would love to see. Can you imagine this, Constance? Gerald, Albright on stage on one side, and then like Kirk Whalum on another side. And then you throw in who else could I throw in there, Constance? Can I put somebody on the bass?
Oh,
no vocals.
Marcus Miller.
Yeah.
Whoa! Yeah, put Marcus, my man Marcus.
Yeah.
You put Marcus back there, and then we need one more that had all 4 corners.
Who's on the drums? Who's on the drums, Gerald?
Woo! I'm gonna say Dennis Chambers.
Oh,
good one.
Yeah,
man. And then just let Dennis go and just lead him into something and just let him riff on top of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Get Norman Brown on the guitar.
Norman Brown, bring him on.
Norman to pick something. Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's make that happen. Let's make
that together. Matter of fact, we may do that. See, what's happening, Gerald, is we're getting ready to, in 2021, we're going to go to 12 cities around the country. There'll be some smaller venues where it's an intimate setting post-COVID, if the Lord be willing. And we want to put something like that together because we love music so much that we want to be part of something epic. And so I just thought about that just now, Constance, because you have Marcus Miller, Gerald Albright,
Dennis Chambers, Kirk Whalum,
Dennis, and then Kurt.
Norma Brown.
We need a keyboard player though. We gotta have a keyboard player.
Yeah. Who's on keys?
Wow. Let's see.
Well, Bob James is a little too slow, so let me see. I would love to say Joe Sample, but may he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace.
Let me see.
It's depending on which way we want to go, but a Herbie Hancock would be awesome. Herbie would be killer.
Now Herbie could kill it. Matter of fact, he might out. Did you ever see Mo Better Blues with Denzel and he might outplay y'all, Joe, because y'all might not have a spot.
Man, Herbie got so much music in those fingers; it's absolutely scary. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, y'all might not get on if Herbie's on the keys.
No, man.
Do you know how insane that concert would be, Robert?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Speak that into existence, boy.
But listen, but you know what I would call it? I would call it smooth jazz, one night only. One night only. Okay. I would holler at my folks at Netflix, Amazon Prime TV, broadcast that thing around the world. It would be really impromptu. I would let you come on, do your sexy thing, Constance, and then I would come on and do my thing, and then I would just get out the way and sit down somewhere and just let them go.
That would be awesome. Let's speak that. Let's definitely speak that.
Yeah. Don't be telling our secrets because we're gonna put it together. Don't let everybody know.
All right, between three of us.
That's right.
And the whole wide world.
That's right. So Marlo said, Gerald versus, who would you challenge? Have you been watching the versus challenge on Instagram? So they've had Erykah Badu versus Jill Scott. They had Snoop versus DMX.
Babyface and Teddy Campbell.
Teddy, right. Everybody remember that one.
Yeah.
So who would be your versus? Now, mind you, versus is not a competition. It's more of a celebration. So it's like you going match for match. You playing your hits, they're playing their hits. You celebrating one another. It's more of a collaborative effort. So like somebody that you're really fond of, but that could get with you because you got 20, 30 albums.
Well, I'm working on 21 actually.
21 albums.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody to have that kind of longevity.
I would have to default once again to Kirk Whalum.
Yeah,
I would.
That would be bananas.
Come on.
Me on alto and Kirk on tenor.
We make that happen.
That would be very, very cool.
Robert, look into my eyes, Robert.
I can do that. I can do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Make some phone calls happen.
Gerald said, he coming to one night only.
Very well. Oh, Boney James.
Oh, Boney's bad boy too.
Boney, good dude. Yeah.
He's bad boy.
No, but I like the lineup you had. I mean, you got Herbie, Kirk, Gerald, Norman, then Dennis. and
Marcus and Dennis. That's unbelievable.
That would be crazy.
Ain't no more room left. that's 4 hours right there, nonstop.
Right.
Like,
can we get 4 hours? Can we get 4 hours of y'all jamming? Just.
Nah, you gotta give them a water break. I mean,
all of us are AARP now. I don't know about 4 hours. I mean, come on.
4 hours.
I might give you 2.5. 4 hours. Come
Encore.
Nah. You know what though? You know what? It would be fire though. I mean, just like an hour and a half, 90 minutes. That's good enough for television. Yeah. Let them do like a medley, like all of them, and then just like had a spotlight on one to the other. And man, that would be fire.
Listen, Brian Culbertson.
Brian's a bad boy too.
That's what I said. I said Brian Culbertson too.
Yeah, I played on Brian's very first record in Chicago. I happened to be doing a show there, and he called me and said, "Man, I know you got sound check, but can you come over and do a quick solo on one of my songs in the studio?" And his dad was in the studio, and he was just a young kid. He might have still been in high school at that point.
Wow.
This was his very first record, and I had the pleasure of playing on it. And look at him now, he's doing
killing.
Yeah, phenomenal. He's got a great show.
Yeah, I saw you. I don't know who. I know it was you. It was your daughter and your daughter. Okay, so tell me what your daughter's doing before we let you go. Tell us what your daughter is doing. What is she up to?
I'm so proud of her. She's a new mommy. We're grandparents of a lovely 4+ month old boy. His name is Gavin.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Gavin Eli, and he's a charmer. I'm just throwing credit cards at him already. I'm just
pop.
A whole nother level. It's just like somebody said you love your grandkids more than you love your kids, which is
man.
They said it's possible.
Well, I'm only 4 months in, and I really love my kids, and Brandon. So that's a wait and see. Yeah. This kid, Gavin, is just so precious, and our daughter usually does daily FaceTimes or pictures of the day for my wife and I. She'll send them every day.
Yeah.
Because he's learning new stuff every day. He's just started this past week eating real food, so he's getting like scrambled soft eggs and pureed this and that, and he's tasting stuff, and I'm looking at the expression like, okay, this isn't breast milk, this is something else.
It's tasting.
But it's so funny to watch, But yeah, so she's being a mommy, but she's in the studio cranking out her new project.
Okay.
We're both trying to figure out when we're going to be able to hit the stage again together.
Yeah.
So that's who knows. But she's doing great. The entire family's doing great. My son is a videographer, and he's doing a lot of videos here in the Denver area. Very, very talented. He went to school for that at the Institute of the Art Institute of Colorado, and so he has a degree. He's serious about it. Yeah. And my wife has her gourmet desserts, and she has a new waffle mix, coating mix, all-purpose mix at Glennis'sKitchen.com.
Glennis, spell Glennis.
GLYNIS. Glennis'sKitchen.com.
All right.
So, Constance, I heard that Gerald will be on sax in this one night only smooth jazz. Glennis will be on the cakes and pies, and his son will be the videographer.
You got it all covered.
I got it all.
Yeah,
I got it all.
Selena will sing.
Yes,
and Selena gonna rip it on the MIC.
Yes.
Wow.
What made you go to Denver, being from LA?
You know what? I needed a change. It was a change of life. It wasn't a career move at all. It was just I needed something different. As I got older, I wanted a little slower pace, and just something fresh, something different. I had been in LA all my life.
Yeah.
And I still love LA for many reasons. I still have friends there that I just love to see. But your spirit tells you that sometimes you just need to make a change and just kind of press the reset button and move somewhere else. And Denver was a good move for us. We've been here 15 plus years now, and just really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it. Yeah, it's very cool.
Wow.
Seems like I watch you, I follow you. So it seems like, it's just a good life. You're on the golf course, you're spending time with your family. It's real slow, real easy, just
easy, balanced. It's just, it's a sense of contentment that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And,
not the hustle and bustle that you get in LA.
Right. The traffic in LA, I do not miss. The smog. So we have an element of smog here in Denver, but it's nothing like LA. Denver is kind of nicknamed the small city that made it big, and it's constantly growing.
Yeah.
When we moved where we live, it was basically, a housing development, a grocery store, a gas station, and a bank. Now it's just like.
Now they got a Walmart and everything.
It's all good. So.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
So listen, Mr. Albright, you have blessed our socks off. And typically we have guests on and we hold them to like 30 minutes. We have gone an entire 60 minutes plus with you. Yeah, and that is a tribute to the cool guy that you are.
Thank you.
Absolutely down to earth. And you're super talented. And I don't say that lightly. I'm from the East Coast, DC. We don't brag on guys unless we really mean it. And I'm trying to choose my words carefully, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean. You guys,
you don't want to fat girl too much, Rob. You
don't do that.
You're really curious. You're very honest about your artists, and you take them seriously. I dig that. I get you.
Yes, sir. So we thank you for being a part of the Conversation Starters live broadcast. What is the best way for our listening audience that doesn't know you, because the one thing that I find, no matter where you go around the country, like Constance and I can think that there's an artist who's absolutely fire, and we'll mention their name. I never heard of them.
Yeah. How?
Yeah. I want the world to know what is the best way to experience some Gerald Albright. And I don't care if you give your personal phone number, whatever it is that they need to know to get in touch and experience what it is and who you are before that 21st album drop. So when you put it out there on iTunes and Tidal, I mean, I want them to gobble it up, because we believe in supporting Black excellence. We believe in supporting artistry. We believe in supporting musical talent like yours. So what is the best way that we can get in touch with you, that they can experience you and see more of this?
Well, thanks for asking the question, Rob. Really the hub for my communication is my website at www.geraldalbright.com. You can go there, and then it'll take you to all of my social media. It has my whole discography there. It has my bio of what I've been doing since I was a little bitty kid with hair. And, so that's the base. Go to the website, geraldalbright.com. But for all your listeners, you can follow me on Instagram. Just keyword my name, Gerald Albright. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're going to have some exciting things happening, pandemic or not. We're moving forward. So we want you to keep in close touch with us.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, listen, you, in my opinion, are one of the greatest, and you have not gotten all your just due. I want them to give you your roses and your flowers while you're still here.
Yes,
you absolutely deserve it.
Come on.
Class act, and you're super talented. I mean, it is a gift poured down from the heavens.
Thank
and
you
so
so much.
we appreciate you being here with us, brother. This has been an amazing conversation, and we are truly humbled and blessed.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite. And I love some Rob and Constance. So let's do it again.
Ooh, go on now, Gerald. You're going to make me cry on here. All my boys are watching now.
All right.
Listen, my name is Robert Antoine, along with the lovely
Constance Carter.
And this is Conversation Starters Live, where we believe that for every situation,
there is a conversation.
Hashtag Conversation Starters Live. You have seen the one and only Gerald Albright. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here. We love you. Peace.